Good morning, how are you all? Hope you're all good. Right, I am here with my laptop ready and I was going to go live on there so that I could use my notes on my phone, and I don't know what it is, but sometimes when I go to use technology it doesn't always work, which is fine, it's absolutely fine. Okay then, right, I'm going to give it 10 seconds for me to scroll up and get to... Here we go, that my notes. There we go. Oh, it's working. You know, it's just an example here of how life happens and you just got to pivot. Right, I've scrolled up too far. Hiya, Christina. How are you doing? Hope you're good. Right, there we go. Right, okay, so I'm just going to have a second and I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. I hope you've got your coffee there too. Christina, I've seen that you've just had your first ever full cup of coffee and I'm guessing you're wired and you're energetic. I've got my music on in the back. I put Capital Dance on. I've deflected from Radio 1 Dance. It started to get a little bit derivative and I thought I'm going to put Capital Dance on and I'll just persevere with the adverts. I'm not a fan of adverts, but I'll listen to that. And they've just had Scooter on, real cheesy. So I was in the kitchen just having a little dance and just upping my energy. Top tip for you, if you ever want to get out your head and into your body, go and dance. If you need to change how you're feeling, if you want to change your psyche, if you want to feel more energetic towards your business or life in general, get moving, get some energy going, go for a walk, go for a run. But the easiest one is to just put on your favourite music, like totally unapologetic, even if you're like a Secret Steps fan or whatever it is, and it's a proper cheesy song, but it makes you laugh, and go put it on and just have a little dance to it and then get yourself in the zone, and then honestly your mind will catch up with your body. So that's what I've done this morning just now. Right, okay, so Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on replay, then I hope you've got a pen and paper ready. If you're watching this live, don't worry if you haven't got pen and paper ready, because once I've ended, you're going to be able to go back. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. This is why I'm going to keep referring to my notes, so that I don't get like a little squirrel and be like, oh, look, there's a bit of Jim, and go off on a tangent. So what I've identified through a few personal experiences myself, I was trying to think of the right word to put it, is I am honing in on my personal power, and I have found a way to maximize that personal growth that I've had, identify what my personal power is, and turn that into a purposeful income. So that is my theme for 2026. So you're going to hear a lot more of it. When you see it on my social media, that is what you're going to be seeing. So the purpose of this training that I'm going to be doing today is to help you shift your mindset, how you can then activate your self-leadership, and how you can then show how authenticity attracts sales and bringing in new pharmacy influencers and helping other people. Emphasis on the word purposeful and authenticity. I can see Alison is watching. If you haven't watched her live from last night, the Wednesday Momentum, midweek Momentum call that Katie hosts, Alison was fantastic. It was just pure gold and wisdom, simplicity, and it was endearing. It was just, I was so proud. So well done for that last night, Alison. I'm sure the replay will be shared very, very soon. Absolutely, go and get yourselves watching it. Okay, right, so I'm going to talk about how you can use your authenticity as attraction, how to identify your personal power, how to attract your niche in terms of sales and sponsoring. And then I'm going to have a little, maybe 30 seconds at the end, where I'm going to ask you to put pen to paper and to engage your brain and to think, and then you're going to go away after this call and get straight away into action. So this is not about posting more. This is not about creating fandangled reels or anything like that. We already know how to use social media. We already have those tools. We already know how to do that. It's not about that. It's not about learning scripts. It's not about becoming louder. It's about being clearer and letting that clarity attract the right people. But you just need to take it a step back, do some of these exercises and make sure that you put pen to paper so that you've got the visual of that clarity, so that eventually, after habitual action, that clarity is going to be in mind. So that every conversation you're having, every engagement you're having, every time you are showing up on social media, you've got a calm confidence about you. You have that crystal clear clarity where your message is going to seep through everything that you're doing. And it's, like I said, it's not about being louder and it's not about posting more or anything. It's just that clarity and being clearer. When you lead yourself first, your income follows. So this is the personal growth aspects of it. So these next 15 minutes, I want you to be thinking a little bit less about what you're selling and more about who you are becoming. We already know what you're selling. We've already got a sales strategy around coffee. We already know it's fantastic benefits. We're going to talk about that. But the cut and crux of it, what is going to be the bridge that is going to elevate you personally, grow your confidence and grow your business and grow your income purposefully, is going to be what we're talking about now. It's not going to be what you sell, it's about who you are becoming. So the first bit is authenticity equals attraction. We said this last night, we've said this before, people don't connect to perfection. Another key word there is connection. You going out there and communicating does not necessarily equate to connection. When you're having these conversations with people, the only way you're going to be able to do it is to show up as yourself. And like the beautiful Alison said last night, I show up as myself because I don't know how to be anybody else. That it's no explanation needed. Its simplicity there is just absolutely spot on. So it's not about connecting to perfect. It's not about trying to show up as somebody else. It's just honing in on your authentic self and showing up and not being perfect all the time. People will connect to the truth. They'll connect to consistency. They'll connect to energy. So like I said, we've got an emphasis on this word connection. It's not about just communicating. It's not about being cut and paste. It's not about copying. It's not about perfect scripts, perfect wordings or anything like that. It's about being truthful and being consistent with it and showing up with your energy. It's not about oversharing. It's about alignment between how you live your life and then sharing that and how you share that. So for example, you don't need to be sat there with pen to paper thinking, right, what is my niche? What is my niche? So I'll give you a little hint there. It's you. You are your niche. There's no way about it. The best way in this industry and in this business and turning your wellness into an income and using pharmacy and the framework within here, your niche is you. You want to be attracting more people like you. More people like who you are becoming. So your niche is going to be you. Simple. And nobody else knows you better than you. So you're in a prime position there. So don't be thinking that other people have got an advantage because they already know their niche. You know your niche. You just didn't realise that it was you. You don't need to be telling people your whole story. They don't need to be hearing like your entire life story. They just want your honesty. They want to know how you're feeling today. You know, if you've had some sort of like brainwave, if you've had an epiphany, if you're overcoming a particular challenge, like one of the recent ones that I've shared recently is not everybody in your circle is in your corner. And I did a real raw live about the theme of that. And that has helped me open up, and it's adding more to the foundations that I've built of my own personal growth and helping me fulfill that purpose and know who it is I'm speaking to and who it is I'm helping. And if you might have had the most amazing day, and that's great. People want your honesty. And again, it's not about being vulnerable as in sharing some really deep personal information or something you've locked away in the past. It's just about being honest and sharing how you are feeling today. So a little question for you, a little prompt is ask yourself, where am I trying to perform instead of just be present? And what I mean by that is there some area of your life or this business where you are trying to encapsulate how somebody else is showing up, how somebody else is doing this, instead of, as opposed to just connecting with yourself, which is all part of about self-awareness, which is all part of what personal growth is encompassing, and being present, having that moment where you just switch off, you just have a moment to yourself and think about where you are feeling, how are you going to be showing up today, as opposed to performing and showing up as somebody else. So if you're looking at when you're going to be having a look at your business and how you've been showing up, particularly in the form of where you're trying to find your niche and talking about your story, this is just a really good prompt. So just write down this question for yourself: where am I trying to perform instead of just be present? Okay, right, so now I want to talk about identifying your personal power. This is not about where you are most confident. It's not about power in that sense of strength or anything like that. It's having self-trust in the action that you are taking and self-trust in yourself. Your personal power is going to be living in the choices you are making consistently, not the version of you that you perform online. So rather than looking at how you are showing up on your social media, how are you showing up in life? Because that is where there should be an alignment. There should be no disparity between who you are on social media and who you are in real life. If you're noticing now, or if you're having like a light bulb moment now, and you're thinking, right, that's when you need to identify, that's when you have identified that you have got a gap there that you can now bridge, because it's not sustainable. You showing up on social media as somebody else or a completely alien version of yourself is time consuming, it's futile, and it's an absolute waste of exactly the person who you are now, you perfectly imperfect, unique self. Okay, so like I said, your personal power is going to be living in the choices you are making consistently in the real world and not the version of you that you are performing online. Okay, so places where you can find it. So you might want to write these down. So these are going to be helping you identify your personal power. So what is it that you protect? What are your values? Like what time? What are the things that you do? Your energy, your boundaries. Have a think about those. What is it you prioritize daily? This is going to be unique to you. Everybody's going to have a completely different lifestyle and setup. Everybody. You know, you could all be mums or not mums, but you could have different lives. You could all be teachers, but you're going to have different lives. You know, whatever it is in your life now, I want you to be thinking, what is it you protect? What are you prioritizing daily? And great time of year to be doing this. What are you no longer apologizing for? What are you leaving behind in 2025? What are you going to unapologetically, that is aligned with who you are, who you prioritize, things that you protect, that you hold dear? What are those things? What are you no longer apologizing for? Your life already shows people what you value. So the way you show up when you go to school, when you go to your kids' parents' evening, when you go to watch a sporting event, when you go and engage with your friends, when you go out for drinks, when you go out for a meal, when you decide whether or not you're going to go out for drinks or you're going to do something else. Those are all going to be how you show up in real life. The choices that you're making consistently are showing what you value. So now that we have got that down, we've got your niche, we've unlocked your personal power, we've identified your personal power, we're now going to talk about attracting your niche. So this is the goal, this is the golden nuggets, and we're going to keep it really, really simple. Your personal power is going to lead to clarity, and that is going to lead to attraction. So for sales, again, I'm not going to go on about this a lot because we talked about this before. Share what you use. So every morning I share my cup of coffee because I have my cup of coffee. I've now added my chocolate collagen. I've not had the chocolate collagen for a while because I went for the little shots. And it's amazing. I literally took my first sip yesterday and I was like, oh, this is just so yummy. Like I forgot how amazing it was. Share those. Like recreate it, because that's what I did in real life. When I eat in real life, I'll be like, I'll do a little happy dance. I'll be like, oh, this is lovely. So I'll record myself. It's all behind the scenes footage. It's sharing who you are, the authentic you. You're not like doing some stage thing. You're not copying a trend. You're just doing this as you. And then you can put whatever your taglines are that relate to your niche, what your message is. You can put your taglines over the top of it. But behind the scenes in that image, it's just you being you, doing you. So share what you use, why it supports your life, and how it makes you feel. That's going to link to an emotion. It's going to educate them because it's going to show how it's supporting. And share, and then when it comes to the sponsoring side of it, share how this business fits your life, what it's allowed you to then prioritize. So go back to those things that you prioritize and you value in your life. A lot of the times you'll have had a pain point. Go back to the reason why you joined. You know, what did the person who brought you in say to you? Like, it might be, I noticed that you mentioned that you don't have enough time to spend with your children because you've had to take on a second job. Are you open to taking a look at this opportunity that I have for you to earn an additional income? Well, maybe you don't have to take on that additional job. And then you joined up. And then you don't have to do that second job because you're using your social media, you're using products that you're using daily, you're getting the benefits, you're sharing them, and you've turned that personal power, that personal growth into purposeful income, and so you don't have to do it. Share that. How has this business changed your life? If you are at the beginning of your journey and you don't have a particular story like that, again, go back and find other ways in which this business has added value to your life, and you share that. And then you want to be talking about who it's right for. I'm going to give you a clue here now. And this might be an unpopular opinion, might be something that you're not even aware of. This business isn't for everybody. Pharmacy is not going to be for everybody. Health and wellness won't be for everybody. The makeup, the skincare won't be for everybody. Showing up on social media won't be for everybody, and that is absolutely fine. You know, I could talk to men. I could go on about how this could be a great business for men, but that's not who I'm talking to right now. That doesn't align with what my values are, what really sets that passion up in me. I want to be talking to other women like me that have had experiences like mine, that have had the pain that I've had, that I've had to grow through that pain. I want to be talking to those people. That is like narrowed down. That is who I'm speaking to. This business is going to be right for those people because it's going to help them identify the issues that they have had that are similar to mine and show them a solution to them. So keep it really, really simple. This isn't fancy or anything like that. You're just targeting people like yourself and showing them how this business can suit them and how it is right for them. Your niche is going to be the woman who sees herself in you today. So when I said they don't need your whole story, they need your honesty today. When you show up on social media and you share your authentic self and you are being honest and real and raw and imperfect and unscripted, just exactly as you are, that person who you're speaking to needs to hear that. And that is the person who is going to either become your customer, who's going to continue following you and be your supporter, or who's going to join you. And then there's power in that. There's power in that. When you've got one person who's gone through a particular struggle, you're not alone, you're not unique, you're not special in any way. Other people will have gone through it. And when you then create a community of like-minded people who are like, this is where I was, this is what has helped me, this is where I'm going, I'm turning back round and I'm helping you. That is where you build that community and that vision that you have, that personal vision that you have, how that is then going to come into fruition. But I'll tell you this as well, I'm going off script now. I'm going off my notes. People will follow you first before they follow your vision. You can talk about what you want to create till the cows come home. But until you show up as your authentic self and show that you are in action and doing those things yourself, people could love what you're saying, what you're going to do, but if they don't believe it from you, they're not going to join you. So this is why you need to be starting with your personal growth, identifying your personal power, turning that into the clarity of your vision, and then having that translate into income. A little prompt here for you, so you want to write this down. Who would feel relieved to hear you speak honestly about your life? Who would feel relieved? And I'll tell you now, if you saw my personal live that I did, I think on Monday. Yeah, Monday it was. No, it was Tuesday, I'm lying. If you saw my live that I did on Tuesday, when I think of the person who would be relieved to hear that, it was me. I needed to hear what I spoke about the week before and 2 weeks before that. And I know full well, like I said, I'm not unique in that experience. And I know from the messages that I got in response that there are other people, there were other women who, in a position that I was in, who had an emotional response, who felt triggered by what I said. and they message me to offer me words of support. And that is why you show up. That is why you show up honestly, because there is somebody else in that position who needs to hear what you have got to say. So who would feel the lead to hear you speak honestly about your life? So make a note of that. And that's just a prompt. That's not for you to answer. That's for you to think about. So have that when you've done your vision board. This is something else that you want to have as a visual. And it'll help you every time before you go live, every time you write a post, every time you create a piece of content. When you've got a visual of these prompts, it's going to help you make sure that you are aligned with your content. It's all aligned. Your life is aligned with the way you are showing up. Okay, so now we're coming towards the end. So the last few things I want you to do, this is going to be an activation for you. So I said I wanted you to engage, identify your personal power, how you want to go through this exercise. Hopefully it's giving you some energy as well and some clarity so that you know when you go away now what it is you are going to be writing down, what your challenge, what your task is for yourself to identify this, and how this could be the gap between you being how you are now, your mindset, your state, how you're feeling right now, knowing what you need to be doing for your business, but bridging that gap so that that action results purposefully into income and impact, and then legacy in terms of it helping other people as well. So I want you to write down or think about one boundary that you are proud of. So write that down. So your first one boundary that you are proud of. Second one is one habit that you are consistent with. Third one thing that they are ready to share honestly. 1 second. I was at dance class last night and I woke up and my abdomen, my muscles are absolutely hurting. I don't know what it is actually. I point to my abdominal area. Nobody knows. I think it's psychological. But then I've got an issue with my disc in my back. So I've got this belt on, it heats it up and it vibrates, but I turn the vibration off because it's noisy. Anyway, I was just putting the heat back on because I could feel it tweak. One boundary that you are proud of. That's what you're going to write down. One boundary that you are proud of. One habit that you are consistent with. And one thing that you are ready to share honestly. Okay, and then I just want to leave these closing pointers with you, is that you don't need to be chasing people. You don't need to be convincing anybody. You're leading yourself, and the right people, the right women. Gary, I know you're in here, and I know there are other men here. The right people will recognise themselves in you. So the whole point of this live, the whole point of this training is to help you identify your niche, your personal power, your areas of personal growth, that self-awareness. These prompts that I've given you, these are all things of how you are going to be able to turn that personal growth that you have already had and that you are going to have and continue having into a purposeful income. And that is through showing up authentically and having that alignment between who you are and how you show up. Less performing and more just being real and honest. And self-leadership, having that sovereignty of self. Okay, so that is everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've got any questions for me, you can pop it down in the comments. I can't see any comments, so either nobody's commented, it was absolutely terrible, or no one's got anything to say, or you were too busy scribbling down, writing notes that you didn't have any time to make any comments. But either way, I really appreciate you coming on and watching this. I really do want to have emphasis on personal growth, because when I look back at the last 11 years that I've had in this industry, or almost 11 years, that personal growth that I have had, some intentional and some not intentional, you know, when you're thrown in with the lions and you have to come out in certain situations, and you do. Everything you've ever overcome in your life, which is unique to you, has made you who you are now. And there is power in that. You have grown through those things, whether you understand it, appreciate it, realise it or not, you have grown through it. And the idea of today was for you to go through it and identify where your personal power lies, and then give you the tools and the guidance of how you can turn that into purposeful income in order to grow your sales, and also help other people find the incredible thing that we have here in pharmacy and make a real impact on them and their lives. So thank you very much. I will see you next Thursday. Bye.